Okay, yeah. Sorry it took so long, folks. I am still getting the hang of Restream. I do apologize to anybody in the chat who has been waiting. My culpa. Hello to Neozoic, and hello, the crew, and good to see you all. Good, good. An off-topic question. Yes, welcome to the weekly recap, by the way, folks. We will be getting into the topics. This is an off-topic one, but it's also still relevant, so I will address it. Um, let's see here. I think it just got a. Yep. One moment. Ugh.
Hello
Howdy
there.
do.
Howdy.
Okay, so live. There is no 30-second countdown anymore because I have gotten rid of StreamYards, folks. So I am actually getting used to Restream, and it's going to take a little bit of an adjustment. So this is our first Restream live stream. And yeah, I do apologize if I haven't addressed anything. But to address this off topic question, uh, what are the thoughts on the FCC investigation on Disney and ABC over DEI policies? Hey, they broke federal law. So they're getting investigated. I
Mm-hmm.
hope that the investigation does lead to something that is fruitful, and I do hope that Disney is held accountable. They should not be breaking the law. This is federal policy. And I'm sorry, but if you are going to handle numerous state or businesses run in numerous states, you are bound by federal law. And Disney, you are operating in more than one state.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, Ambassador, how are you, buddy?
Doing well, all things considered. So, how are you?
I'm doing good. How's my audio coming in? Am I
Oh,
choppy or anything?
No, you sound great.
All right, that's good. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the policies. Tonight we're going to be talking about essentially Rachel Zegler, still. She and Snow White and whatnot. She is the gift that keeps on giving. We are going to try to keep it civil, more of an
Oh,
objective standard. I mean,
mm,
believe me, I would love to rag on her all day, but and sure we will. Or I'm actually going to try to dial it back a little bit, just a little, not too much, but enough.
yeah.
Also, we are going to be talking about Clive Revill, the original voice
Mm-hmm.
of the Emperor. He has passed on,
Yep.
and then we will be talking Big Trouble in Little China.
Yay.
So, uh, before we do, Ambassador, let everybody know where they can find you.
The channel is called the Ambassadorial Wing. We discuss films and television series of the Gen X generation and before that, and, well, anything that's pertinent or entertaining after that fact. So, right now, we're on a little bit of a hiatus or anything because of, well, moving and so on. But as soon as we get settled at our new location, we'll get back on it. So, but as always, glad to be here with you. And well, as you say, Rachel Zegler, she is the gift that keeps on giving. And well, sometimes you want that gift, other times you don't. But in this case, we definitely want the gift.
Yeah. So that will actually be our first topic. So, as we all know, folks, Rachel Zegler has made herself rather controversial due to the fact that
Mm-hmm.
despite being told by her bosses and whatnot, she just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know when to shut her mouth. She doesn't know when to be quiet. She doesn't know when to turn it off.
She doesn't know when to
Um,
just leave well enough alone.
that too. And her Still there, Ambassador? Yeah, you still there?
Yes.
Okay, just or you disappeared for a second there. But yeah, she basically, to give you guys the full recap of everything, she was cast as Snow White way back in like 2020 or something like that, or 2019. And well, people pointed out it's like, isn't Snow White's name literally the reason why she's named Snow White? It's because her skin was white as snow. Well, Rachel Zegler took umbrage with that. And well, she started making it out that people were racist, and she's saying, "I'm not bleaching my skin." Well, nobody asked her to. Nobody said she should. Um, and then, well, Dinklage pissed people off and made it sound like he was the spokesperson for the dwarfish community, which he's not. And so they decided to instead do seven dwarves. They decided to do seven magical creatures. Well, unfortunately, people saw leaked photos of stand-ins, and well, yeah, that didn't go well or over so well. And so, yeah. Then Rachel Zegler had her D23 Expo interviews with Gal Gadot. She showed great disrespect and disdain for the
Hey,
original.
Orange, if you can hear me, I'm having audio issues. I'll be back in just a minute.
Okie dokie. So yes, she had shown great disdain for the original. She had uh disrespected the 1937 classic, saying it was dated. The prince literally stalks Snow White, and she's not going to be saved by the prince. And then Gal Gadot was the first one to say that, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. And well, yeah, this didn't go well or go over so well with the fans, folks. And well, yeah. So then she decides to say that she really didn't watch or like the original even more. She then went to Disney World and checked out Snow White's Scary Adventure, and it was really off putting. Are you back?
I cannot hear you, Orange. I'm not sure what's going on. So, no, I can't hear you. So, I think it's an issue on my end, not yours. So, I will exit out. I'll be back.
Okay, dokes. Yep. Alrighty. Yeah. He just knew. But so then it continued, and she then started playing in other roles, making more statements. Disney did reshoots, and she, in promotion of her film, uh, made a political statement: "Free Palestine." Due to that, it caused her co-star Gal Gadot to be endangered, and she needed additional security. So, yeah, also people were saying that Gal Gadot was a lot more attractive than Rachel Zegler, which when it does come to physical looks, yes, she is. She is a lot more attractive than Rachel Zegler. Um and let's see here. And it seems, yeah, okay. But yes, there he is again.
There we go. I can hear
All
you.
right, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good.
All right, we're good.
I can hear
All
you.
right, good to go. All right, good deal. All right.
So, yep. So then then they tried Disney. Now, folks, Snow White is not solely, or Snow White's failure is not solely on the shoulders of Rachel Zegler. I do want to
No.
make that clear.
Oh yeah.
However, the lion's share of blame does fall onto her. I mean, yes, first off, it's Disney's fault for casting her because of the whole DEI policy stuff. And they are sick of all the princesses being white, even though that was never the case.
Let's see.
And then it was their decision to take out the seven dwarves, and then they put them back in, but as garden gnomes instead of dwarves. Because if you look at them, they look more like garden gnomes. There's also, I mean, what else is there? Just let's face it, folks. She kept on running her mouth. She kept on getting political. Her stance with Palestine created a rift between her and Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
And then during the 2024 election, she lost her temper and made threats to F Donald Trump and F those who supported him. May you never know peace.
Yeah.
And well, Disney then basically sent their producers after her, gave her a social media guru person to oversee her social media posts. Now, just thinking practically, everybody knows that Gina Carano is suing Disney for gender discrimination and other things as well, and or wrongful termination and whatnot. Well, yeah, saying things that are that Disney really didn't want them. Oh, I will be getting to that, Neozog. Don't you worry. But yeah, saying things that Disney didn't really want you saying and trying to put a kibosh on her lid and whatnot. Well, Gina Carano didn't get a social media guru. No, they just straight up fired her. So this whole thing with Rachel Zegler might actually make it into the Gina Carano lawsuit.
It's a
But the point
possibility.
is,
It just depends on what the parameters of the discovery are for that. Now they've started that, if I recall correctly. So it's just a question of will they want to as a parallel. My guess is if her legal team is smart, which it sounds like they are, this is something they definitely want to want to look into, because this this presents almost a double standard, because you've got one set of rules for Gina Carano and what she had to say about the lockdowns and people of different political persuasions and how they're being treated by others.
She never even mentioned
side.
that. She didn't mention political parties. She simply said that neighbors were being turned on neighbors.
Yeah. So that's essentially what I'm saying here. So, but if there's one set of rules for Gina Carano, but there's another set of rules for Rachel Zegler, it's not, Disney. It is not a good look, and I would say you definitely have something to consider. Even pay attention, much less care, but I definitely say that Disney should really consider how they're behaving with their actors and actresses in terms of disciplinary action. Because you've got a kid, you've got a very harsh way of dealing with Gina Carano.
Yeah.
That's not right. Even in a
No.
not even in the non-entertainment industries would something like that be even remotely allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, getting up to date, the movie finally released. They have been doing a lot of promotion. I have a friend in Malaysia who is saying they've been going very hard with the promotion over there. I mean, you can't even walk down the street without seeing over like dozens of different promotions and stuff all over. And, well, this is what happened, folks. Let's share the screen here. The movie didn't do well in the box office to the point where its second week coming in, Jason Statham's The Working Man took number 1 at the box office, knocking Snow White to number 3, from what I understand.
70% drop.
And yes, it is looking like, yes, rules for thee, not for me, basically. Yep. And hello to Vanya. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, Vanya.
And it's just, I mean, folks, Snow White opened at 43 million domestically. And then it hit 87 million
globally,
worldwide.
Yep.
87.3 million. Pretty much, yeah. All the other countries aired, and it didn't even make $1 million in China. China actually mocked this movie.
And this is one time I can't say I blame them.
I don't blame them either. And here's the thing, folks. When it comes to all of this, they are pushing all of this stuff, saying, well, or Disney, I mean, you already got the Middle East basically boycotting this movie on principle. I mean, sure, the Israelis are going to be for Gal Gadot, but they're going to show up for Gal Gadot, but they are not showing up for Rachel Zegler. Now, this movie, or I believe, just recently broke 100 million. So over the last 7 days, it took them another week just to get over the hump of 100 million at the box office. And the drop is looking around 68 to 70%. This movie ain't succeeding with a $280 million budget. And with all of
break even.
Yeah, it's going to be lucky to even, or no, it will take a miracle of God to break even. That's just fact, folks. And here's the thing. They did lesser, how you doing, MB Geek? Good to see you. They did, they walked back the London premiere. They walked back the red carpet premiere. They lessened them and made in-house press only allowed. It's all right, MB. And Origin Ambassador, also, do you think it is also because people are getting tired of Hollywood's overused IPs rather than creating something new or original, i.e. Working Man beat Snow White? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, people are sick of these soulless reboots. Yeah. People are sick of the remakes and reimaginings. You don't touch these movies, or you don't take these movies and say, okay, well, we're going to make them again live action. And you know what? Sure, you got Lilo and Stitch that actually looks good. And I am admitting that, folks. I, the person who has been getting on Disney's case for a long time. Now ask me why suddenly am I pro Disney? No. I still think they didn't need to make a Lilo and Stitch live action. No. Because there are changes. Plinkley and or Zumba or whatever, Jumba. The two aliens that are going after Stitch on Earth. they're going to be made to look like humans, actual humans. That was revealed in the trailer, where they basically cosplayed as humans in the original movie. Now, this movie here was a reimagining. I hate it when people call this movie a remake. It's a reimagining, modernizing it. Her name's not Snow White because her skin's white as snow. Her name is Snow White because her and her family survived a snowstorm. I'm sorry, but that's weird. That's weird. And I'm thinking to myself, why? And then you have an actress who is fighting against you tooth and nail. You had to push back this movie not because of the strikes that they make a claim for. They're claiming that it's because of the strikes that this movie was delayed. And I'm like, no, it's delayed because people got pissed off at Rachel Zegler for running her mouth. And they were openly boycotting the film. Then they thought, oh, a year later we'll calm people down. Nope. A year later, you gave Rachel Zegler basically full reign of running her mouth. And she did.
Yeah.
Run it, she did. Like an Olympic athlete who could leave Usain Bolt in the dust.
Yeah. Here's the thing, if I may.
Go ahead.
You have got, and I'm not saying this to be dismissive or anything else, but you've got a rather generic 80s/90s-esque action movie starring Jason Statham, which, don't get me wrong, I like Jason Statham. He's done some good movies in his career. And so on. He's been in some good franchises. I will say there have been a few installments of the Fast and Furious that he was a part of that I actually liked him in. He started off the transporter and he's done some good stuff. He's done interesting stuff. He's found his niche, and hey, that's good. Got a rather generic action film starring Jason Statham that beats out a multi-million-dollar remake, and I'll use the word remake, of one of Walt Disney's, if not Walt Disney's, most iconic films that has been literally run into the ground by the certain members of the cast, i.e. the lead actress. People are going to want to go see Jason Statham instead of, to quote Michael Knowles, sand beige.
Jeez.
And
so,
go ahead.
I just got new information here. Snow White, as of 8 hours ago, unfortunately, this is 8 hours old, but apparently the movie has grossed over $143 million at the worldwide box office, and the new budget is reportedly $350 million.
It's gotten nearly half of its money back.
No, it hasn't.
Okay, you say it's 350. How much has it made worldwide?
143, but here's the thing. You're not taking into account the marketing, which marketing is usually 2.5 multiplier.
Yeah.
So this movie at 350, double that plus, let's see here, 175, so 875 million. But let's do a conservative estimate to around 700 million. This movie ain't making 700 million at the box office.
No way in hell.
So, yeah, if this movie is hitting at 143 million as of today and has to make 700 million after the first week, it didn't even break 100 million, that's bad.
Yeah.
Or its first weekend, I should say. Weekend.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what the budget for Working Man is, but if it came in number one...
40 million?
Okay. It's going to make its money back, and it'll probably do modestly well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this movie got what? 15, or Working Man got 15 million.
Yeah, it'll make its money back.
Yeah. So that's its
Maybe
first
not.
week. Now I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it will most likely make its money back because with these, I think Working Man is Lionsgate, yes?
Uh, and yeah.
Say again?
I said I'm.
Well, they actually go to more of a 1.75 multiplier on their marketing. I hope Daily Wire Snow White makes more money than this. I don't give a fuck about Daily Wire. No offense, NB, but Daily Wire can. I almost
Stick it.
yeah, they could sit on it and twist as far as I'm concerned because they have made some monumental mistakes recently, and I believe that they have become too much ego.
Yep.
Oh, so Neozoic MGM or Amazon MGM for Working Man. Okay, well, here's the thing. I'm
Okay.
still willing to bet that movie's going to make it or make some bank.
Yeah.
40 million. They got to make 80, or let's say they got to make 80 million as a conservative estimate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah.
But as for this topic, Rachel Zegler and her movie bombing in the box office, this movie is a guaranteed. It was already reported through the first week that this movie was going to be a box office flop. So that will make Rachel Zegler a let's see here, West Side Story flop.
Yep.
Um,
Shazam.
Shazam
2,
flop or Shazam 2 flop.
flop.
Y2K flop. Ballad of BSS Hunger Games, not a flop but not a success. That was a break even
hardly.
movie.
Yeah.
What other movies was she
She's-
in?
I
So
think
West
that's
Side
about
Story,
it.
Shazam 2. I hate to do this,
Yeah.
but I gotta look it up.
I
I
think
think
that's
this is
about-
going
I
to
think
be
that's
her
all-
fourth flop.
Yeah, not a good sign. And here's the thing. She was picked out of nowhere by Steven Spielberg. Now, yes, his career has kind of declined over the last few years, and his name doesn't have the luster to it that it used to. But here's the thing: it's still Steven freaking Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
And when he picks you out of the masses to be the lead in his remake of West Side Story, and that sucker flops. Not
Yeah.
a good sign, and not to mention she's made some off the cuff remarks and everything. She never actually said himself by name, but she made some um, an, incendiary remarks about the producers in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, I got her IMDb. So Snow White, this spellbound, whatever this spellbound thing is, Y2K, Hunger Games BSS, Shazam, and West Side Story. All of these
That's it.
movies are, well, aside from Spellbound and Hunger Games, are flops.
Yep.
And
I never
so
heard of
1,
Spellbound.
2, 3, 4. She's a 4 out of 5 flopper. She's a fish out of water. And get this, folks, you go to something like Jason Statham. I did a video on this. Does Rachel Zegler have a future in Hollywood after this? And that video, unfortunately, got suppressed. But it's like, if you look at Jason Statham's IMDb, his filmography, you will see a thing above it saying upcoming projects or upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at Rachel Zegler's,
There's nothing.
she doesn't have anything upcoming. And from some insider sources, they pulled her out of projects. They were discussing whether or not to put her in projects, and they quietly moved away from that. That's some of the whispers going on in Hollywood. And
really
so yeah, I can't blame him either. And also, this was actually going to be a topic itself, but I'm just going to throw it in here. Snow White not only got the Daily Wire version of Snow White that they're planning on doing with what's her name, but the porn industry, Axel Braun, the adult industry, the director Axel Braun, who did the Batman bit, who did Black Widow and Captain Marvel, who did those porn parodies. He's now doing a Snow White parody. And he actually put it on Twitter because I care.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, man. Oh my God. It's like, dude, seriously. Axel, shout out to Lethal Lightning and them. They actually got to interview some of the porn stars and Axel Braun way back a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. The fact that most likely Axel Braun will do a superior job to Snow White than Disney. I mean, he's been doing superior jobs. Yeah. Say what?
That's saying something, because let's be honest here. Axel Braun is a producer in the adult film industry. Mm-hmm. And he's more faithful in his parodies and his adaptations, particularly probably in this case, although it would be much more explicit. Here's the real funny part. If you want to think about it, he will probably employ actual dwarves in his parody.
Yeah, he probably will. I'm pretty sure there are other dwarves, or there are dwarf adult film stars out there, folks. Yeah. Oh my God, I could see it. Yeah.
You can see the image in your head.
No, he could see it making more money.
Yeah, I can too.
Oh my God, there is from 1995. Wow, it's pretty funny. But the point is, folks, Rachel Zegler harmed her career. She is the poison apple of her own career, as I often say. Yeah. And this is what happens when you think that you are bigger than what you really are. She thought because... Go ahead.
Go ahead, Orange. I'll say my piece.
She thought because she was found by Steven Spielberg, the man who did Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Time, Jurassic Park. She thought that because this guy found her, that she would be a huge star. Now, there's that video going around where she is having some sort of meltdown about the Wings of Victory being brought to the Louvre in pieces. A lot of people are saying that that's a recent video. That's not true. That video came out shortly after the West Side Story movie broke. That is literally about West Side Story. Her bitching about that. Mm-hmm. That video was years old. Yeah. And she thought then, when she barely had a career, that she was going to be this person that people were going to line up to watch and line up to admire and adore. And then she ran her mouth. And people are trying to defend her. I mean, I do believe I released a short on this. Let me check to see if my short actually was released. No, I don't think it did. But nope, my short didn't release. Son of a bitch. But all right, well, I guess I will address it here. There are people in my comment sections in some of my videos saying, well, she's young. Maybe we should give her a break. No. I learned at a young age that accountability matters. If I ran my mouth off and got in trouble for it, well, yeah. I was held to account. If I endangered a person's life, I was held to great account. I was put in a lot of trouble. If I did something very wrong, I was put in a corner, slapped on the ass, or made to sit down, depending on how old I was at the time. And she also was an adult when she made all these comments. She was an adult, folks. She made her bed. She has to sleep in it. And as I said in that other video, like Amber Heard, she didn't just poop in the bed. No, she had a diuretic episode in the bed, and now she has to sleep in it. She might want to wash the sheets first. But the point is, Rachel Zegler is an adult. She is going to be held to account for her actions. And the accountability is that this movie bombs. Her career is in shambles, which she did herself. And then there are people saying, well, if people boycott this film, the other people in the movie will suffer. Yeah, and?
It's unfortunate, but
I learned at a young age that teamwork and being a part of a team, one member of the team's actions affects the whole.
yeah.
And it leaves an enticement to not screw up. Rachel Zegler may not have learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Because she felt that, well, I'm a superstar because Steven Spielberg found me.
No, darling, you got your start because of Steven Spielberg. Now you have to take what was given to you and carry it forward. And here's the thing, Mrs. Zegler.
Mm-hmm.
You have screwed up on a monumental level.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a lot of ways like the character of Charles Foster Kane from the movie Citizen Kane. You pretty much came from nothing, and then you got handed this monumental were big that you could not fail. Well, in one of the more notable scenes when he's confronted by his political opponent, Jim Geddes, and Geddes says to him, "You, sir, are going to need to learn a lesson, and I have a feeling you're going to have to learn that lesson more than once." And in the end, Kane, I don't know if he ever eventually learned his lesson. We don't exactly know. But we know that he died alone in obscurity. And I'm not saying this as any type of threat. I am simply making an analogy of the character of Charles Foster Kane with Rachel Zegler. Yeah. He died alone of old age, all by himself in his dilapidated estate. And I would say, Rachel Zegler, if you're not careful, you're going to suffer the same fate as that fictional character.
At least professionally.
Yeah, professionally. Yeah. You are.
I mean, here's the thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
No.
Okay. You may eventually recover from this, but you will always be known as. Yeah. But you will always be known as the actress who sank the remake of
Snow White,
the Disney's most iconic film, Snow White.
She also remembers the actress's period.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Ambassador.
That's a good point. Madam Ambassador made a good point there.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, too. You know, Disney has been so fixated on diversity and so on and inclusion. Well, they snubbed actual actors with dwarvism, if you want to put it that way, or dwarvish actors and actresses.
They're being sued for that. Yep.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. Disney princesses were already inclusive to begin with just by their actual nature. I can give you two examples. One being Princess Jasmine, two being Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, and three, Merida from Brave. Now, yeah, she's still white, but she is from an actual different culture, and if you want to say it this way, a different nationality. She is, if I remember, Irish.
Scottish.
Scottish. Okay, my mistake. She is Scottish. So you have a princess of Arabian background. You have a princess. Well, and also you have Mulan, a princess of
Chinese.
Chinese or Asian background. You have Tiana, a princess of African American background, and you've got Merida, a princess of Scottish background.
Moana.
You
also
Polynesians. Yeah, I did not mean to. So you've got the sister, the older sister from Lilo and Stitch. I can't remember her name, unfortunately. I mean, you could make the argument that they are twin sisters in a way. You could make the argument that Anna and Elsa from Frozen are Nordic.
Yep.
So
now
this whole idea.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
I've said my piece. So go
All
ahead.
right. So venturing also into the more expansive, due to the acquirements of Disney, we have an extraterrestrial Disney princess, the Queen Alien. We also have let's see here. Well, venturing into the animal kingdom, Nala is a Disney princess. She's African. She's an African lioness.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sarabi.
Yep.
Simba's mother.
Yep. Simba's mother as well. I mean, folks, they didn't realize this, but Disney was very, very diverse. And they didn't like the fact that it just didn't show too much. They were listening to too many people who were saying there's not enough representation. And that's not the case. So, Rachel Zegler, she is going to be forever known as the woman who sunk Snow White and sunk Disney princesses. Because, well, yes, even Halle Bailey, she didn't get that much, or she got a lot of backlash, but she handled it gracefully. Where Rachel Zegler didn't. And she is going to be, or people are holding her to account. Everybody's like saying it's unfair for Rachel Zegler. No, it isn't. She is an adult who made poor decisions, and therefore she's held to account. So, with that out of the way, let's now move on to our other topic, which is the voice of the Emperor from The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. 3 episodes of Batman the Animated Series,
and
the voice of Alfred, and numerous other projects indeed. Clive Revill has passed away. Now, I have his IMDb. Let me share it. Now, apparently, this guy has done some rather good stuff.
He has, and I didn't realize it myself.
Yeah.
Because when I was looking through his IMDb earlier today, I was like, holy crap. That was that guy?
Yeah. And let's move down there so, we don't get copyright struck. Apparently, he was in the Transformers movie as Kickback.
Yep.
So, he was also in Star Wars The Old Republic. Darth Gravis, Admiral Razier, Admiral Davos. Oh my God, this dude did a lot of stuff. Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, Autobots. He was Jetfire. No shit.
Yeah, I know.
He was Jetfire.
I know, right?
Behold the glory of Jetfire. That was him.
He was apparently so. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Now this one I'm really interested. Yeah, he was Pirates of the World's End. He was a British officer.
I remember him.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Now here's the one I'm really.
Wait, was he in the movie though?
That was the movie.
No, that's a video game. Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End 2007.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't see the video game part. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah.
Here's one I'm really.
That's just a video game.
Oh, scroll back up, please.
All right. Thorn from the Hobbit, the 2003 video game.
Dr. Doom from Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yep.
No wonder I
Dark.
liked the Doom so well. Not to
Yeah.
well, Doom is Doom the character himself, but dang, they got a majestic voice to do the voice of Doctor Doom. I never caught onto it before until I saw that today. I was like, holy crap, I love that game.
The animated series of Godzilla.
Yep.
Johnny Bravo. He was the voice of W, whoever W was. Touched by an Angel. Puss in Boots. The TV movie.
He also did the Imperial Officer for X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, the Star Wars video game.
Yep.
He was in Murphy Brown. Love that or hate that show. I love that. I love Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown was good. Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. He was a sorcerer in one of the episodes.
He was
Sykes in Dracula, Dead and Loving
It.
Babylon 5, Little Mermaid, the TV series. He was the sorcerer's blowfish.
He was also in. Now he only had one scene, but he was in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh my God!
He
as the fire marshal.
Marshal at the beginning. I know.
Admiral Dodonna in Star Wars X-Wing, the video game.
Yep.
Batman the Animated Series, 3 episodes as Alfred.
Yep.
Little Mermaid's Island, played Grimsby.
Here's something interesting. He was in Star Trek The Next Generation, the episode where he plays Sir Guy of Gisborne. That's the episode where Q transports
Picard.
This is one of the episodes. This is one of the follow-up episodes with Picard and his one-time love interest Foch when he went to Ryza. So I actually find it interesting that Clive Revill played a character from the Legend of or the Adventures of Robin Hood, and they made Worf. They made Worf John Little. He's like, I am not a merry man.
Oh my God, that was funny.
I
know. The Emperor's New Clothes as the Prime Minister. He was in MacGyver. He was in Rumpelstiltskin. Sledgehammer.
He was in Alistair the Looking Glass, the TV movie.
Oh my God, that movie.
Yeah,
was
I know,
one of the first movies that scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Never bothered me, but that's me. I'm weird.
The Jabberwocky gave me nightmares, but the problem is, in my mind's eye, I remember the Jabberwocky differently because then I saw it as an adult, and I'm like, how the hell was I ever afraid of this thing? Because oh my God, folks, your mind's eye makes it far more scarier.
Of course, the greatest voice of the Jabberwocky will always be Sir Christopher.
Oh, yeah. Transformers the movie, Kickback, obviously. Twilight Zone. He was the Kickback, or he was originally Kickback in the Transformers series. Magnum PI, Royal Match, Fall Guy, Ferret, Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair, not Dragon Slayer.
He was a TJ Hooker.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was the guy that literally did everything, and he did it well.
Oh, yeah. This dude has a good thing here, man. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, the Emperor's voice, because the face of the Emperor was a woman with prosthetic makeup on, folks. A lot of people didn't realize that.
I sure as heck didn't myself. I mean, I didn't learn that until I was much older, and they actually discussed it. I'm like, holy crap, they did all that just for one character, and then you got Ian McDermott.
Yep, who played him in
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that one. Sorry.
It's okay.
But oh my God, it just goes on and on. This dude, 60s, 50s. Okay, 55 was when he started going. Adventures of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He played Horatio, the Headless Ghost, Fourth O. Once Upon a Tractor. Okay, that's an interesting thing there. Chronicle, Volpone. I mean, yeah, folks, this man did quite a few things. But the voice of the Emperor is the one. The voice of the Emperor is the one I will always know or remember him from, as the original Emperor, besides Ian McDermott.
Well, it just goes to show that back in the day, actors had to be a lot more versatile so that they maintained their career. And he was one of those actors. He was like, yeah, we mentioned that Neozoic.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was just the game, not the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, but in a lot of ways, Clive Revill is his career kind of mirrored.
Brie Larson.
No. Oh,
No, to answer this.
They destroyed their own career with their nose. Yeah, I would agree with that. Neozoic, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Yeah.
So.
Yep. Hey, Christian, good to see you.
Hey, Christian.
Sorry, finish what you were saying, Investor.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Revill had one of those careers. Granted, he didn't have as many major roles as say Bar. He steadily kept on working throughout his career, because if you look career, obviously the things he is best known for were the monster movies, like Frankenstein and the original Mummy, where he played the Mummy. And then he transitioned to I will say it, they might be considered somewhat campy or cheesy horror movies of the 50s and 60s, but some of those were actually very entertaining. And then, of course, he did the voice work of the Grinch that kept him in notoriety. He did several TV series that were along the vein of the horror genre, like Thriller and so on, which was like it was a more horror-based version of the Twilight Zone. Everything, if you want to look that up. But Revill followed a similar pattern, and I don't say that in a bad way. The only difference is the one thing that for people of our generation that we would know him best for is obviously the voice of the Emperor from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And looking at his IMDb, you realize just how much longevity this guy had in his career. I mean, he worked up until just a few years before he passed. For his ethic, not to mention for his versatile as an actor. He was good just behind a microphone because his voice had a quality that people sought after. It's almost like Kevin Conroy, or love him or hate him, Mark Hamill. They have an ability with their voice to be a talented voice actor. You don't see that much anymore.
Yep. And yes, Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial are extremely narcissistic. I remember the controversies a few years ago. They're animated voice actors. But yes, rest in peace. I mean, he 95 years old.
95.
So he lived a good life. And may he rest in peace. Now, moving on to our movie discussion. Folks, we are taking you back to the 80s. Back to a time in which magic and heroism and bloviating foolishness ran amok in San Francisco Chinatown.
And
Jack Burton.
Yeah.
One of the greatest heroes that nobody has ever heard of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Driver of the Pork Chop Express, slayer of Chinese mythological beings.
Demons, yes.
Yeah. i.e. Lopan. Lopan, played by James Hong, who we know and love ever so much.
Folks, this was a movie that actually had a small controversial political thing back then. When you watch this movie and its audio commentary with Carpenter and or what's his name? Kurt Russell.
John Carpenter?
Carpenter and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
He actually brought up the whole there were people that were complaining that the Chinese actors and stuff were being exploited because of the stereotypical Hong Kong fooey and whatnot, or kung fu and whatnot. And it's like, or he's like, all right, well, hold on a minute. I will talk with my cast and crew and whatnot. And he asked them, do you guys feel that you are being exploited in any way? And they all said, no. They looked, or they're like, no, man, we don't know. Or whoever these people are who are complaining, it's not us. And I absolutely love that, because it's like, dude, we get to work. We get to share our culture here. We get to share our mythologies here. What's not to like?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, this, like I mentioned and everything, this ties so well into the discussions we've had over the last few weeks, with for the Forbidden Kingdom and Dragon Ball Z. It's sharing a different aspect of the Asian culture because it's from China. It's not from Japan or a different area of China or a different era of Chinese history. But it all ties together. It's as one of the characters said, it's like a wacko version of Alice in Wonderland, except instead of the white rabbit, you've got the floating ball full of eyeballs.
Yeah, right. How would I compare Big Trouble in Little China with other 86 fantasy films? Highlander, Labyrinth, Castle on the Sky, Miyazaki's anime film. Well, Highlander and Labyrinth were very straightforward. Well, Labyrinth is a better comparative to Big Trouble in Little China, because Labyrinth was a little bit more out there with the scope. Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the interesting thing. Big Trouble in Little China.
Yep. And Highlander, that was straightforward in reality. Yes, you went back in time in history and whatnot, but you still stayed more grounded. I mean, yes, you have a bunch of immortals and they're cutting each other's heads off and getting struck by lightning multiple times, but still, it's not really something you can compare to Big Trouble in Little China. This is where mythology literally comes to life before your very eyes, and you're like, what the fuck did I just drive into? That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Burton, everybody's like, Jack Burton is such a hero and whatnot. Jack Burton didn't do shit except for in a couple of scenes. It's like, he managed to finally kill Lopan, sure, but most of the time he got his ass kicked. Most of the time he didn't even know what the hell he was doing. Most of the time it's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to talk a big game, and I'm going to try to grab my boot knife, and tosses it out of, or whips it out, and it's like, crap. And so as Dennis Dunn is kicking the shit out of everybody, he jumps back in. Ha!
Dennis Dunn's already killed everybody. Wang Chi.
And yeah, I love it. He's like, time to go. Yeah, it's like, yeah, thanks, Wang. But I mean, it's just so.
Well, here's.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny thing about this movie. In a lot of ways, this is Dennis Dunn's or Wang Chi's story more so than it is Jack's, because Wang Chi's got more on the line. He's trying to save his fiance. Jack's just kind of along for the ride. So in a way, Jack is like a fish out of water here, and Wang Chi is his eyes and ears and trying to walk him through all of this stuff. I love the one scene where they've been captured. They're in the chamber. They're in the metal chamber with all the skeletons hanging on the wall.
Yep.
And Jack says to him, he's like, "You're holding out on me, Wang." He's like, "I don't want to offend." No, he's like, "I don't want to insult you." He's like, "Go ahead, insult me." He's like, "It's about all sorts of scary things, about armies of the dead who live in the spirit city and monkey sacrifices." He's like, us Chinese kids, we grow up hearing these things, and then we grow up and pretend that we don't know about them. And it is the first time I ever saw this movie was on TBS back when we still had cable when I was a teenager. And I instantaneously fell in love with this movie.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had a rerun of it, and I actually did. Back in the day when you could do that sort of thing, I actually did a VHS recording, and I think my mother ambassador still has the tape. But I finally was able to get a copy on Blu-ray a number of years ago, and it was like a prized piece of my movie collection, because I love this movie that much because it is just irreverent. It's funny. It's got action. It's got Chinese mythology. It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
Kim Cattrall before her looks kind of went downhill. Or, I mean, let's be
She
honest
tried
here.
to save her career with Sex in the City and failed miserably. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, in a lot of ways that's true. But in this movie where she plays Gracie Law, she's funny, she's sexy, she's got spunk. When she's facing Lopan of the Three Storms, and they've got her chained, and Lopan tries to touch her, and she tries to literally bite his hand off. Now, that's a woman. That's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
They also have great lines too. I mean, it's like,
Yes.
or one of the best lines. We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wang? No horse shit, Jack. No horse shit.
Oh, shit.
I mean, that is something that when it comes to storms, like lightning and thunderstorms outside, folks, I remember back when I was a kid, those storms shook houses. Thunder would crackle to such a degree that you heard it miles away. Nowadays, you can barely see a freaking lightning flash that has barely anything. I mean, a couple of times last year, but that was about it. But man, nowadays you rarely get that really pillar shake or heavenly pillar shaking thunderstorm out there. And I'm thinking to myself, God, I really miss those. Back in the 90s, weather was the shit. And I'm not talking about the bad shit. I'm talking about the good shit. And that line, we really shook the pillars of heaven. If you're doing something so grandiose, so monumental, that's where that line fits in, man. And that is such a great line. We really shook the pillars of heaven. And this movie delivered that line to such a great effect.
Well, it's because
now for the bad news. Ready? Also, I mean, that was also another great line. Now for some more bad news. Ready?
Well, here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. The actor who played Egg Shin was actually who.
Go ahead.
Walter. Oh, for hang.
Okay,
he owned the convenience store in Perfection Valley and everything. He's one of the early victims and everything. Everything that gets killed. The funny thing is, I think it's in like the third second or third sequel to Tremors. It's called Back to Perfection. They introduced a new character. It's actually I think it's like a niece or something of his, and she takes over the convenience store. I feel awful not remembering the name of the actor, but
Victor
he's
Wong.
so good. Victor Wong. Thank you.
He also played in The Three Ninjas.
Never seen it. I've never seen it.
Where's my can?
Folks,
shove it up your ass. But no, I'm joking, obviously.
I know. But here's the cool thing about this movie, because I honestly think this is. I know everybody says that like The Fog or Halloween, is John Carpenter's best movie, or even Escape from New York.
No,
is John Carpenter's best movie. No, this is honestly, in my personal opinion, this movie. And there's one particular reason why. He did before this movie. And it's actually on the Blu-ray. If you have the Blu-ray, the music video is on there. And it's him and two other guys are editing the footage of the movie together, and they start playing their instruments. And the voice that you hear that says that starts singing, that's John Carpenter's voice. He's actually not a bad singer.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on comparison between Big Trouble and Little China and Eddie Murphy's The Golden Child due to both films having similar premise and release of the same year?
Trouble's
Victor
better.
Wong was also in both of those movies too. However, one was literally about a boy saving the earth from hell, where the other was about some Chinese deity just wanting to come back to life and basically ruling the world, sure. But well, I mean, yeah, similar, sort of similar premises, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the
But
thing. Which one is remembered better? The Big Trouble in Little China or The Golden Child? I would say Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little
better.
China, although Golden
Mm.
Child does have some great voices or moments in it.
Yeah. But
I mean, I love
have
Eddie Murphy.
I do too, but honestly, this one has a lot more appeal to it
Yeah.
because you've got Dennis Dunn and Kurt Russell, everything. And here's the funny thing: everybody assumes that Jack Burton is the hero. No, or the protagonist. He's the co-protagonist, yes, but Wang Chi, played by Dennis Dunn, is the hero in all of this.
And so is Victor Wong.
Yeah,
this is a movie in
too.
which one of the main protagonists comes in later in the film, even though, I mean, small bit part in the beginning and another bit part in the intro to Chinatown, but then he really comes in greater effect in the third act of the film.
Yeah.
But I love that beginning of it. It's like, we literally did this as a reshoot, and we decided to put it at the beginning of the movie where Egg Shen is getting ready to testify and whatnot in a court of what happened and the events that took place in Chinatown. He's like, please, you got to show me something to work with here. And then he just does, and it has lightning cascade across his hands. And the guy's like,
holy crap.
I'm pretty sure the dude shit himself right at that point in that room. You see, that was nothing.
That's how
and that's how it always starts.
It always begins. That's how it always begins.
Yep.
Very small.
And hello to Sexy Goth Girl. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, kiddo.
But yeah, I mean, this movie, I love it because it's a feel-good movie. Yes, it inspired Shang Tsung and Raiden.
Well, I would also say it inspired Raiden as well. They care. The lightning. Hello.
You kind of phased out a little bit there.
Okay. No, what I was saying is
you bought it.
Okay. Lightning kind of inspired Raiden.
Yeah.
Of the three storms.
Yeah, and Shang Tsung was Lo Pan, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Well, you could even
good,
say that
Goth Girl. Yep.
And you could even say that Liu Kang was actually inspired by Wang Chi.
Yeah, Wang Chi. And Carter Wong, who played Thunder, he actually trained the Chinese police force.
Wow.
He's what?
No, I said wow.
Dead? Oh, I thought you said he's dead.
No, I just said wow.
What'd you say before that?
I just said wow.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
But yeah, Carter Wong trained the police force. Also love when Rain and Lightning went into the Golden
brothel?
Tiger or the White Tiger brothel, and Jack Burton just goes up, lifts up the hat, and he's like, and then hits him again, and it's like, and he's like,
okay.
Yeah, hi, and he just gets kicked through a damn wall, and it's like, oh shit. I mean, he just hits him as hard as he can.
Here's the thing.
Just is like looking at him like, right.
But you know what? Jack took the hit. He took it like a man.
Oh yeah. I just got my ass kicked.
But you know what? I live to tell about it.
Yeah. And these guys, oh my God, man. Al Leong, who is like the 80s and 90s henchman of every freaking Asian movie ever.
I know, right? The one with the long hair and the Fu Manchu mustache. Yeah.
And people are like, who's a Chinese guy from the 80s and 90s that everybody liked and whatnot? His name is Al Leong. And he even gets a lot of freaking respect today. I mean, not
Yeah.
as a henchman or acting, but he goes to a lot of conventions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude did all sorts of great stuff. He was in Big Trouble in Little China, Lethal Weapon,
Die Hard.
Die Hard. He was in all the greats. He's the henchman
Yeah.
he's
When
that
you
henchman
want,
whose name or face you recognize but can't remember his name.
well, not just that. He is the actor that if you want to portray a badass that doesn't have to say a whole lot, he's your guy. He is your guy.
Oh yeah, he was also in a Big Showdown in Little Tokyo. That one was Dolph Lundgren and Brendan Lee. Oh my god,
I've heard of that one, but I've never seen it.
What's her name? Carrera, not Asia Carrera not Asia Carrera, but she's a adult actress, but
Tia
Carrera. Yeah. She was in the movie. And well, yeah, you get to see all of her in that one.
Wowzers. Well,
and Brendan Lee had to screw up that entire moment later on. And it's like, dude, don't ever say that again. Great line, funny line, but it's like, oh my god, man, really? I don't ever want to hear that line again. But getting back to this though, yeah, this movie, folks, Big Trouble in Little China. It was the movie you put kids like me on the floor to shut up for about an hour and a half.
Yeah,
because this is a movie you could just sit back and watch and enjoy. Yes, you have a freaking floating head full of eyeballs. You have this ugly retarded son of Sasquatch. You have this freaking giant fly that comes out of the wall and pulls a guy into a wall in the underworld. You learn that there are multiple, China has a lot of hells. The hell of being cut to pieces, hell of the upside down sinners, hell of boiling oil. I mean, what other other hells are there? I mean,
the hell of people being skinned alive.
Yep, the hell of people being skinned alive, or check into the psycho ward, whatever comes first. I mean, oh my god, when he did that old man, or when James Wong did the old man prosthetics,
did old man Lopan?
He hated it, but he loved doing it. He hated the prosthetics, but he loved playing it.
Oh yeah, and you could tell. And there's actually, the funny thing is the TV version, the TV edited version, it cut out, it cut out a few lines that contained some swearing and everything. But there was one line that always confused me why they cut it out, because all he says is, "This is the sort of thing that pisses me off to no end."
When he realizes this really pisses me off to no end. Yeah.
I'm like, why cut that line? The only thing he says is "piss." That can't be a bad word that people can't hear. It's a
7 words you cannot say on television: shit, piss, see you next Tuesday, F word, cocksucker, mother effer, and teats.
Yeah, but piss isn't one of those words.
Piss was one of them.
Oh, was it? Okay, I didn't realize.
Shit,
okay,
piss was the second one in the 7 words.
Okay, forget it. All right, fine.
But also, one of the best lines that he has in the old man Lopan shots was like, "Shut up, Mr. Burton. You are not put in this world to get it."
Yeah.
You are not put alive in this world to get it. Actually,
you are not put upon this world to get it.
Yeah, you are not put upon this world to get it. You're not here looking for a truck. You're here looking for a girl.
Wow.
Green eyes. How would I compare Big Trouble in Little China with other 86 films such as Top Gun, Platoon, Jesus Christ, Aliens, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I just recently watched that last year. Karate Kid Part 2, good movie. Transformers, the movie, awesome movie. The Fly, holy crap, that was a good movie. Gina Davis naked is something that everybody can like.
Yes, before
Top-
her looks went to hell.
Hey, Gina Davis kept them through the 90s. Don't freaking say shit like that.
I said before her
I
looks
know.
went to hell. I'm talking about more recently.
Yeah.
This
This movie beats those. This movie is just pure entertainment. Where the others, you get bogged down with. I mean, the others are good. Don't get me wrong, but you got to really, really pay attention. You got to really, really pay attention to those ones. Where in this one, it doesn't matter if you're paying attention because holy shit, it's just a visual spectacle.
Yes, with a decent story.
Yeah, with a good story. Yeah, definitely. But those other ones, it's like Top Gun. Okay, you got to pay attention to some stuff, or else you're gonna lose your way. Aliens is a sequel that you got to basically watch the prequel to. Platoon. I haven't seen Platoon in like years, so I can't even remember.
I've
half the
never
shit
seen
in that.
Platoon, to be honest with you.
I think I haven't either, but to be honest with you, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, I love that movie.
If you don't pay attention, you miss one thing in that movie. You miss everything basically.
Yeah.
Because you don't, or it's just so freaking layered. Karate Kid Part 2, you got to pay attention to that movie. Transformers the movie, you got to pay attention to the movie. The Fly, that exists. Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Fly's a good movie, but holy crap, man, that just went weird.
They actually did a sequel to The Fly.
And I don't know why. Because didn't he literally have his girlfriend blow his head off after he started turning into a fly?
Yeah, but here's the thing. She did get pregnant. They did have a son. And the son went to work for another geneticist company that wanted him to continue
His father's work.
His father's work.
Oh my god.
It was actually pretty good.
I'll have to check it out sometime. But yeah, when I saw her nightmare with the flesh maggot just wiggling around, it's like, oh my god, man!
Dear Lord, that was disturbing.
Yeah.
And they wonder why Gen X is disturbed. There's a reason why we see Gina Davis giving birth to a giant maggot.
Giant bug movies, folks, were a thing back in the 80s and 90s because there was this other movie I couldn't remember what it's called to save my life. But there was this woman that was put into a trance, and she literally has a freaking humongous centipede just crawl right out of her freaking mouth. And I'm like, I can't remember, or that's the only thing I remember from that movie. Well, there was also another movie of the guy that basically made the thing crawl out of her mouth, but he also reaches into a wall and just pulls out this giant-ass bug with a shit-eating grin on his face. I can't even remember what that movie was called, although I do remember those two specific scenes from that movie. It was weird. But I can't remember the name of the movie, though. And I've been searching for it. It's like, it drives me nuts because if I can remember the scenes, I want to go back and look at what the movie was called. I just can't remember the damn movie.
Heck, I have a good brain for those sort of things. I can't remember the name. I can't even recall what the movie might have been called myself. It almost sounds like
you know what that movie is, but you've heard it, or from me describing the scenes, you remember the movie apparently.
It sounds vaguely familiar. It almost sounds like something out of the Hellraiser movies.
I mean, this is something that I saw when I was a kid. Saw it once, or saw just those two scenes, and it was on TV during the day. So
that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, back in the 90s, kids were made of harder stuff back then. Let's just say that.
I will say, okay. Another, The Fly was a remake from the original 1950s film. They actually did a remake from a 1960s film that I actually really enjoyed. I thought it was better than the original. The Blob. Actually, they did a remake of The Blob in the 1980s. So,
thank God she didn't give birth to a nightmarish fly baby. That's what my brain immediately went to hearing when I heard the Fly sequel. But yeah. Getting back to this though. Getting back to
I
Big
was
Trouble.
watching.
We got to get back to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Big Trouble, folks. What else is there to really say except that it also left with a bit of a cliffhanger with the retard Sasquatch in the back of the Pork Chop Express.
I always called him the Wild Man of Hong Kong.
I mean, sure. Big Trouble, or I always called him the fur guy or the furry guy from the movie, or when I was little. But nowadays, I just call him the Sasquatch or the retarded Sasquatch because he kind of looks just really deformed, you know.
Yeah. He
But
was one of the weird things. He was one of the weird things
yeah.
that was being transported over from Peking.
Yep. And this movie also had some very attractive women. Kim Cattrall, Susie Pie.
Yeah.
You can't find a picture of Susie Pie nowadays. You
Wow,
look up
really?
Susie Pie, you will only see a picture of her from Big Trouble in Little China or another movie or something else.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think she was a carpenter because I think she was a model.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think she was a model. I think this was probably her one and only time doing a movie.
No, she did like 2 or 3 movies. But there was also one scene during the wedding scene where he's pushing the needle in her arm. Mm-hmm. If you pay close attention to that, you actually see her wincing because James Hong got a little overzealous with it. And it's like, dude, seriously, what the hell? And she never broke character. I mean, you see her doing a little bit of squinting her eyes a little bit like, come on now, stop it.
Yeah.
But she stayed in character very well, man.
She did. And, this movie is I would say an excellent example of having a strong, okay, I hate to use that word, but a
strong female character.
Yeah, but I hate using that phrase.
Let's reclaim it.
An empowered female character, but who is still feminine.
Mm-hmm.
She's not butch.
Yeah. And there's also that scene. I mean, if you pay close attention, after Lopan dies, you see that James Hong was wearing like lifts that were like this big because he plays a guy or a character that's 7
This guy's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's like 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
7. And he actually has to
I've
wear
taken
a lift
something. I can see
because he's
Yeah.
It's like
7. It's okay. I've taken something. I can see things no one else can see.
Yeah, and then he conveniently looks down at her chest.
Well, can you blame him? He just went through a humongous fight. He almost got killed by the wild man. He got killed by the wild man of Hong Kong, and now he's having to go face. He's having to go face a Chinese demigod. Don't you think you'd take a peek? Would you take a peek at him?
Yes, I would. Now, get this, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
When the battle starts, he does his battle cry, and he misses most of the battle because he shoots the rocks above his head and knocks his ass out. And I'm thinking to myself,
he shoots the stone ceiling, and some of the rubble hits his head.
Yeah, it is just so freaking hilarious. It's like, ah! and everybody's running, and he's just spread eagle out there, man.
Yeah.
And then he sees a sword dude coming up, so he slides his knife through the bottom of his boot into the guy, and then he can't get the guy off because the guy is just too freaking big.
Heavy.
Well,
just before that, Thunder shatters his gun. I mean, literally shatters his freaking gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, jeez, literal.
Yeah. This is the gun. He literally hits it, and it just like this, and the thing just shatters like it was ice and glass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, somebody throw a grenade over here. Oh, thanks, Egg. You got me, Bob.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The 16 bag. The six demon bag. What the hell's a six demon
Yep.
bag? Wind and fire and all that sort of thing. Great. Just great. All I've got's a
Yep.
knife and a gun. And then just
Yeah,
a knife. And yet that
And
knife is all he needed to kill the Chinese demigod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, we need him to become flesh so he can be killed. Okay.
Yeah.
And he does, and that's when it's like, goodbye, Mr. Button.
Although
He just
I
grabs
will
and
say
flicks
this.
it right back.
I will
Yeah.
say though, Lo Pan does pay him a compliment. It's a good knife.
Yep.
Goodbye, Mr. Burton.
And
Because that
oh
is
my
a
God,
good knife.
Oh yeah, it is. And then he knocks over all of the frickin' statues.
Yeah.
Which is great. And
Yeah,
it's like,
and
it's all under reflexes.
and then the lightning, then thunder shows up, and then he sees the fact that Lo Pan's dead, and he blows a gasket, literally.
No, he blows him. Yeah, he blows himself up. And it
Yeah.
seems that this dude was vegetarian because everything that came out of him was just rotten greens.
Yeah, essentially.
The dude literally blew up a bunch of salad. The
Yeah.
booba gave him strength. Good one, Riot. I miss Riot's wit, man.
I do too. Right, finish your schooling so you can come back on streaming. We miss you, kid.
Yep.
Get
But,
all educated
yeah.
and come back on here with us.
Yep. So we're gonna start wrapping this up soon.
Yes.
There is no specific theme stream, folks. Due to the unpredictability
affairs.
of this month, due to the chaos of this month or of April, I will not be able to do my streams. Sunday or even the Sunday recaps are going forward after the second week are going to be
Sporadic.
unpredictable. So the next one is good. The one after that is good, I believe. And then it gets it's going to be unpredictable from there.
Irregular. Yeah.
Yeah, irregular. So I do want to let you all aware of that. It's also going to take she finished school actually. She's got to finish her training at her new job. Nice. Okay, good job.
Right on, kid.
Keep up the good work.
Yes.
And I know it's a tough slog, kid, but you can do it.
Yes, you can.
But also, to keep you all aware, yes, I will most likely try to carve out a schedule while I'm down helping my family and whatnot. But I'm also going to be getting used to this sort of layout now instead of StreamYard. If you guys are still using StreamYard, that means that you are willing to pay $45 for no reason.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get Restream. I mean, yeah, I don't have the clips that I used to have, but you know what? I don't need the clips. Honestly, don't need the clips.
Just need a good intro, and I'm going to work on that as soon as I'm able.
Yeah, I mean, is there an area where I could put the intro?
Yes. When I'm able to sit down with you and actually put you onto mine, I'll show you all the little inner workings of it. But yes, there's a way you can put clips in.
I mean, there's default graphics, background.
It's under a different thing. I'll show you when I have the time to. I'll show you.
Right. Okay. So QR codes, notes, chat, notes. That's cool. That's something that StreamYard didn't have. QR codes. Why the hell would I want a QR code?
If you're big enough and you want to do a promotion of some sort and you have a QR code for it, that's why.
Okay, all right, that works. Captions, obviously. Design. I'm guessing it's under design, but
I'll have to look at it. It's been a minute, but I'll show you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Backgrounds, default graphics. So yeah. Overlay, logo, font. I chose bangers.
That's the one I use. That's the one I use.
Get your laughs out on that one, folks. But yeah, let's see here. Oh, so that's an automatic, yeah. And also StreamYard, before I got rid of it, you have the button to share a screen and stuff, but they also put it up where you see the people on screen in their layout. And I'm like, why would you do that? That's a redundancy. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, yes, this is going to take a little bit more to get used to, but I could get used to it, you know?
I'll help you get there.
And
Don't worry.
all for 19 a month or 2052 a month. That's not bad. That's literally less than half of StreamYard for the same shit.
Pretty much.
So
And
I
actually
ain't
some
complaining.
and some bear stuff too.
Yeah, I ain't
'Cause
complaining.
Because this actually has motion backgrounds on it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, to give you guys an idea, let me show you.
Look for the
Default
camera.
graphic.
Look for the camera icon on the backgrounds. That's your motion.
Yeah.
blurs.
I mean, check this shit out, man. Okay, there's 8 of them. I mean, let's take a look at some of them, shall we? I mean, this is pretty cool. Well. Oh, dude, that's epic. That's like going through a nebula. Very nebulous.
Okay, that's just a still. That's not unless it's just because I'm on my
It's
iPad.
moving.
Because
For me,
on
it's
the- on
moving.
my end. All right, then never mind. It might just be because I'm on my iPad, not my computer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what that one's doing. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
It's okay. I'll show you. I'll show you later. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty cool. But yeah, let's go back to A Big Trouble in Little China. But yeah, folks, that's going to be the recap. Thank you to everybody who stopped in, all 4 of you. Apparently, X chose not to air my fucking stream, even though I'm on X. Have a good night, Riot.
Bye, kiddo. See you later.
But yep, thank you to Riot, Vanya, NB, Christian, Miss Martin Muses, and Ambassador for as well as Neozoic and everybody else who showed up. But next week we will talk some other stuff. And is there a movie that we could think of? I mean,
We'll think about it off air.
yeah, we'll think about it off air. But thank you to everybody who showed up. Or Ambassador, you don't have anything to plug right now?
As of right now, no, because like I said, we're in the process of moving. The move is tomorrow. It's probably going to be at least the in-laws are good enough to get internet hooked up at their house, so it might be a day or two. Just depends on how long it takes. But at least for the next 5-6 months, just depends on how long it takes for us to find a new place to live. We'll be there with the in-laws, and but me and Madam Ambassador, as soon as we get everything situated and we get things organized, we're going to start doing our videos. And Madam Ambassador, I don't know if I shared this with you. I know I shared it with some others. Madam Ambassador is going to be starting her own channel.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Okay. Yep. Starting her own channel.
All right. And Sexy Goth Girl, you have a good night as well. I will most likely
Sexy.
talk to you later because I know you offline. So, yeah. All right, everybody. This has been Orange Chat. Sorry, there is no more clips for the Are You Done? Are you done? Sorry.
Not yet. We'll work on that.
We'll work on it. I'll get new clips, better clips.
Yeah. So.
And maybe have an eclipse. Anyway, take it easy, folks. And always
Night,
remember
everybody.
to stay humble. Yep. Always remember, stay humble.
What he said.
Yeah.